Hey viewer, I'm back. Had to take a little break, a little breather, a little pause. A little pause. All right, so the goal is to basically go to Dunmorrow. Yeah, let's do that. No, not Dunmorrow, sorry. Loch Modan. Yeah. I was just on a little... I just made a little stop here. Just a tiny little stop here. Just to do one quest. One teeny tiny quest. That's all, that's why I'm here. Let's continue our journey north, and as I said, I'm hoping... I mean, I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna get a little quest here or there. We'll see. So this is the place I thought I would have some quests, right? Is it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit more further away. Is the game following the real day-night cycle? I thought it was. I'm not so sure anymore. Here, right? There was a quest here for the trogs. Yeah, but I'm obviously... Oh no, I'm not. There we go.
Hi. Watch your back.
Yeah, killed 10 of these dudes. See, it's yellow even, so that's good.
You got my attention. Awfully of you.
And kill these dudes. These are green. Alright, that's fine. And they're all right here. Like, this is a really, like, decent quest hub, I would say. For Classic, at least. Like, in... From what I remember in retail, you just go to a place, then you pick up all the quests and you're done. Like, in Classic, you always have to... Well, generally, there's a lot more running around. There's not as much quests, etc. But this is like really good. I'm higher level than they are. They're decently spread apart. They're not difficult to kill. I wish they would drop cloth though, but yeah, you can't have everything, you know. I'm low on mana. Oh, they like to run away. That's horrible. That's really shitty. I really hate that. But alright, I'm like so over leveled for them, it's not gonna be a problem, I don't think. These are all skull thumpers. I guess the other ones are in the cave. The bone snappers. I think they're in the cave. They should be. They should be. Oh, there's somebody here. For sure. There's usually a lot of them here. Yeah, somebody has been killing them. Oh man, I hate this. Like, you never know when they're gonna respawn. You don't know where the person is. Oh yeah, he didn't kill this one because this is the Skull Thumper. He doesn't need them. He needs to rush the other ones. The Bone Snappers. Yeah, I'm scared of caves. I'm afraid of caves. I don't like caves. Not at all. Oh, it's a hunter. Thumper, bones, no, I'll kill him. Like, I don't know if this guy is a bot or not. I really don't know, you know? I mean... I really don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. Man, this guy's level 10. Guy's level 10. Yep, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't think this guy's a bot. I don't think so. Yeah, his pet has a name. That's a sign.
I can't carry anymore.
Ooh, Scroll of Spirit. I want to grab a Scroll of Spirit. I want some spirit. I mean, might as well kill everything, because I am gonna, like, get XP for them. They're not that difficult to kill. Oh, he's out of line of sight. Alright. Oh, Jesus, this is a horrible place. Shit. Hammer spine. Oh, it's a rare humanoid. Should I? Do you think I could kill him? Maybe. Is it worth it though? Is it worth it? He's a rare elite. I'm not gonna risk it. He's my level. If I was a higher level, I would kill him.
I'm out of range.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not gonna try, because if I fuck this up, I'm gonna die. There's no way to escape, you know? There's no way, nowhere to run. Oh, shit, there's a bone snapper. Come on. Oh, shit, alright, let's do it like this.
That spell isn't ready.
I don't want to tank everything. I don't have to tank everything, luckily. There's a bone snapper, but there's another one coming right towards me. Alright, buddy.
Inventory is full.
I mean, this is all like decent loot, you know? Whatever, fine.
Inventory is full. Inventory is full.
What did this guy drop? Oh. Oh man, this guy almost died.
How are ya? Safe travels. What can I do for ya?
Is there a vendor here, maybe? Yeah, there is.
What can I do for ya? See you soon.
You know what? One of the guys I'm subscribed to at YouTube has interview with Hans Zimmer. With that, I feel like that's something I would like to listen to right now. I'm kind of interested to hear what Hans Zimmer has to say. If you don't know who Hans Zimmer is, he's a really famous movie score composer. He did the score for Inception, for example. Right?
Hans Zimmer is one of the most celebrated film composers of all time. Dark Knight, Inception, The Lion King, Gladiator, Interstellar, Last Samurai, Dune, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dunkirk, Batman Begins, and it goes on and on. I had a chance to sit down with Hans at his studio in LA last week. But before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe button so I can continue to bring you interviews like this.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, by the way, this guy's awesome. It's Rick Beato, he's called. He's really like a cool dude.
Other interviews I had to do. Right.
Does interviews with all sorts of like music people.
Actually interested in guitars and art and stuff like that, you know?
Hans, I've seen this room many times on film, in pictures. It's a beautiful space. How important is your space, your environment, for being creative?
Hugely important because most studios I've been to have been built to sort of be intimidating, or they pretend to be hip, but you sort of still know it's a business environment. You know, the clock is ticking. And when they take the clock off the wall, it's even more evidence that there used to be a clock hanging there. Do you?
Exactly.
So what I wanted to do, and I'll be very honest with you, this place is modeled on a turn of the century, last century, you know, Viennese brothel. Because I felt people, you know, like the red is sort of, it's cozy, but at the same time, it's a little bit exciting.
Yeah.
And I found that the advantage of this place was people loved talking to each other and coming up with ideas and being honest and creative, and nobody minds hanging out. Nobody knows what time it is because, you know, nobody knows what country they're in.
Right.
You know? So that was sort of really important, and it's just a place where ideas flow, you know, and people like to be here and people like to hang out, and we have a pretty good
There are
vibe.
quests here as well, I think.
A little thirsty. And if you want to break the rules, this is the place to do it. And if you want to follow the rules in comfort, this is the place to do it. The whole complex, I mean, the whole complex is pretty big. I mean, this is just my room. But, you know, it's full of people who know how to fix things as well, which I think is really, really important. You know, I was one of the first people to really get into computers and music.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where I was just, you know, there's a new operating system every few months. I just gave up. I just went, I need to concentrate. I need to concentrate on my music, you know, and writing something new is a learning process as well. I mean, you know, I once said to John Powell, you know, why does it take me 2 weeks to write a new theme for a film? And he goes, well, you got to get it under your fingers first. And I thought, oh, that is so wise. It is exactly that. It's like learning a new riff, you know, with an awkward fingering. You just have to go and play it slowly, and you know, maybe after 2 weeks it'll flow. So it's all the same thing. So I started to subtract things out of my life, and I started getting very good at the things that I kept. You know, for instance, software synthesizers. 90% of what I do is done on one software synth, and I've been working with that thing for so many years now, and I still haven't run out of ideas.
And what is that?
That's Boss Heckman, Uhi Zebra. It's the Dark Zebra HZ. You know, it's the Hans Zimmer model. You know, I suddenly get an idea that needs 6 resonating filters. You know, and he's going, why do you guys need this? Well, I can't explain it, but when you hear it, you'll see why. Then there's this other little synth, which is called the Legend HZ, which is basically a mini Moog with one.
All right, this is.
Improvement. It has a.
I mean, this can be a very dangerous place.
Decay, you
The
know,
Trogs here.
you actually have a proper release, but it sounds as good.
To the right, they're here, and to the right.
You know, and we have a few of the real things around. And then the real things are just like, you know, I can shut my eyes and I can just go up to them, and I'm at home. And what makes them sound great for me is that I'm so familiar with them. You know, I'm not a big, you know, analog versus digital guy. I'm just going, if it sounds good, it sounds good. I don't care.
You don't
what
care
makes
how
it
it's
sound-
made.
No, I don't care how it's made. I love the way things are progressing. And there have always been people who write beautiful software or who make beautiful hardware. And they're classics as well. You know, it's like the Fender Stratocaster for me is
Man, level 12. Man, this is gonna be a pain in the butt.
because the shape has been timeless. The electronics haven't really changed. And what it does, which is so remarkable, is it amplifies the
Level 11. Oh my god.
Jeff Beck, who sounds totally different from Stevie Ray Vaughan, who sounds totally different from a Mark Knopfler, or like any, you know, each person's individuality is being amplified.
And worst of all,
A couple of magnets and some steel.
they like to run. And I'm in combat for some reason. Why am I in combat?
People that you just chose off the top of your head, Stevie Ray
Why am I in combat?
and Mark Knopfler, they're very different players.
Yes, but I love them all.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, I worked with Jeff Beck. I had to teach Jeff Beck a tune, which was sort of, you know, here, give me your guitar. And then I was going, oops, now I have to actually play. So, you know, I loved him, and I loved his inventiveness, and I loved everything he did. And I thought, I think totally the most inventive. You know, that thing. And I said to him, why don't you use a pick? He goes, because I lose them.
Right.
He got really good at something because he was really bad at remembering where he put his pick. So his tone was singular, you know? Like when he played the blues. You know, there's a...
My God.
Yeah, amazing, you know? It's like so beautiful, it's so inventive. And so I love those guys. I love those machines. I love those machines that are incredibly well built.
When we were talking a bit ago before we started rolling, you talked about essentially not being hostage to the
Man, I should have.
talk about this.
Well, no, I mean, look, I saw that in my early days when I was
Yeah, this was a mistake. This was a mistake.
and I would do sessions, you know, and the artist would say to the engineer, don't you think there should be a little bit more top end in my voice or whatever it was? And I saw the, you know, a big Neve, you know, with the big buttons,
Yeah.
the 73. I saw him flick the top end, but not actually turn it.
Right.
And I thought, shit, that poor guy, you know,
Yeah.
he should just be able to, the artist should be able to walk over there and do that until it's exactly how he hears it. And I started doing, I would do my little 3-hour session, and then rather than packing up and going home, I would hang out for the rest of the day and learn from the engineer, to see what he was doing, how he was placing,
Oh, he escaped.
you know, what difference EQ made, you know, and I would be working with true magicians, you know, I mean, really the top of the, you know, line engineers in air and, well, air and
Right.
or Abbey Road, you know, if you wanted it. I felt that was really important, that a musician should never be at the mercy of somebody else. He should never be stumbling over the words because he doesn't need to use them.
My manner.
So the only words he needs to use is, excuse me, can I just do this myself?
When you're starting a film, what is your process like? If you don't know a director,
Every project is sort of the same. It doesn't matter if I know the director or don't know the director. I try to avoid reading the script, not because I am against great screenplays, but because I want to know what's in the director's head. So what I usually do is they either come here or we go out for dinner, and there's usually a good bottle of wine involved. And I say, so tell me the story, because then I know what is important to him in the story. You know, he'll leave out all that stuff that is, you know, secondary, that is important. And I get a sense of the tone somehow, you know, and tone can mean two things in this case. I mean, it can mean the tone, you know, even the light, and you know how he's going to light the thing, and how what the colors palette is going to be like. And that has to sort of match up with what I'm writing and the sounds I'm using and the orchestration, etc. So all that happens sort of in the first conversation. And then I go away and usually sit down and just write, which pretentiously I call a suite. But it's just it's actually a diary. So I start off just trying to find a theme.
Shit.
On the first day, right? Or find a sound, or, you know, it might not actually be that yet. You know, for instance, on Dune, the whole process was, let's make new sounds. Let's make this thing is set in the future. It's science fiction. Let's just go and, you know, and then my late friend Chas Smith, who was a welder, but made these beautiful instruments, and his whole house was actually a resonating chamber. So you had to go to his place to play these instruments because, you know, the house was the resonating chamber.
right?
So it was inventing instruments.
That was good, right? That was so good.
On big sampling expeditions, you know, program a lot of sounds,
So good.
etc. And then I sit down and then I just start writing, and I every day I write a little bit, and I don't go back, I don't correct, so I just go through it until inevitably the music editor or the director or somebody says, you know something, I think it's time to write the picture. I think it's time. A prime example is you know, like Inception, for instance, where I was writing without having a picture because Chris was shooting. And then he finished shooting and I said, okay, let's have it, let's have the picture. And he said, well, you know something? It's been going so well with you just writing and giving me these pieces of music. I wanted to finish the score, and then
Was he using it as like temp music?
Yes, absolutely. And so I got mean and twisted because I knew the script really well, and I really did know it. So I would send the pieces over now without titles, seeing if he could guess, if he could feel, or if I was specific enough that he would know where this thing would go, right? And my test scene in that film was Marion Cotillard is going to commit suicide, and she goes out on the ledge and her shoe drops. And I had a note which was going to hit that shoe drop, right? But I didn't tell Chris.
Didn't tell, right?
So then when he showed me the film for the first time, everything was in place, including the shoe drop.
Wow.
If you jump, you're not gonna wake up, remember? You're gonna die. Now just step back inside. Come on. Step back inside so we can talk about this.
We've talked enough.
Mom.
Come out to the ledge, aren't you?
It was great. You know, in Interstellar, there was a similar thing where he's in Iceland shooting and he's freezing cold, but he's explaining the scene where Matthew McConaughey is watching the videos of his children and he starts crying and all this.
Grandpa attended the ceremony. Oh. I met another girl, Dad. I really think this is the one. Her name's Lois. That's her right there.
And Chris is breaking down the whole scene for me over the phone, but you know, like what leads up to it as well. And it's a lot of shots, it's a lot of cuts. And I'm going, Chris, I don't think I can do that. I think I really do need a picture for this. And he says, let's just give it a go. We've had such a relationship of feeling the length of shots, the storytelling, you know. Let's just give it a shot doing it that way. You write the piece and then, you know, we'll see if it fits. So I wrote it, and send it to him in Iceland. He phoned me. I had to phone him. I had to go, well, you know, is it a disaster? He goes, no. It was two. I cut 2 frames and it was perfect. But you see, this is what I think the job is. The job is not.
All right, I got 3 left.
Telling you what the music is he wants, because if he knows what music he wants, then he can do it himself.
Right.
My job is to sort of listen to him tell me the story and then do the thing that he can't even imagine. So that's the job, and I need sort of collaboration and at the same time complete freedom to do this. And you know, like you have that with Denis. I mean, to a degree, you know, it's like, and I'm being silly. He's got one shot in this first part of Dune when they arrive on the planet, and you know, there's a guy playing the bagpipes, which I thought was really great, because you know, if somebody was playing a fanfare trumpet, I would have asked him to cut it out. But the bagpipes felt like a sort of instrument that could be forever, you know,
Right.
timeless.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the tune he was playing, so Guthrie Govan, the world's greatest guitarist, who, after all, does have Celtic roots, redid the bagpipe tune on guitar. And I don't know, months later, we're in New York. Denis and I were doing a question and answer thing in a theater packed with people, and somebody asked me about the bagpipes, and I'm going, oh, actually, it's not bagpipes at all. It's Guthrie playing the guitar, and Denis going, what, my beautiful bagpipes? It's not my bagpipes? And I'm going, no, actually, it's Guthrie playing guitar. And this goes on for a bit, and then we're back to question and answer, and then he breaks it again, and he goes, are there any other secrets you need to tell me? You know, how do I write? I mean, I write by trying to find...
What? So he basically said the bagpipes in Dune are an electric guitar.
Surrounding myself with
That's
incredibly
crazy.
talented musicians, people who can give great feel and context to the notes I've clumsily have written. I am...
You know, a lot of very successful people who are very good at what they do always say that a lot of their success is due to surrounding themselves with other people who are extremely talented.
Somebody kicks me and goes.
You know, there is something to that. Like if you actually do surround yourself with people who excel at stuff,
From as far as I
it
can
kind of rubs off. You know, you just start to perform better yourself because
because all I wanted to do
it's such a high standard that you're working with. You know, your bar is automatically like heightened.
Yes, I had a period of living in rat-infested places and with a single coil ring. You put the baked beans on top
How
of
are
it,
ya?
and that
Yeah.
was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, this quest I think is too dangerous for me.
Truly not fun. So I was getting into synthesizers, and so I go, okay, tonight I'm gonna come up with some really cool sounds. With the one problem, that the electric meter, you had to put shillings in,
Oh my gosh.
and I just remember, I'd be. I had my whole setup, and I was so excited, and I had my cup of coffee, and I was gonna go, and I'm just about to switch it on when, both, electricity goes out. And of course, I don't have any shillings, so I'm just sitting there all night in the dark. I waited until the dawn came up, and I went for a walk. I mean, so yes, I come from that period as well. And then, I was just lucky. I mean, I was found by Aerodel, which was really a George Martin company, and this woman Maggie Rodford, who, when she needed a synth programmer. Okay, I can do that. And then George came and sort of took me on board, and then this composer who was working there, Stanley Myers, who'd written The Deer Hunter and had written that great guitar piece.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, amazing. He sort of said, hey, do you want to partner up on some stuff? Yeah, absolutely. And actually the funny thing was he had bought himself one of those incredibly complicated Italian espresso machines. And he didn't know how to use it. And the deal then became, if I show him how the espresso machine works, which basically meant I make the coffee forever, he wasn't interested in how it actually worked, he would show me how the orchestra worked.
Okay.
So that was a really
It's a good deal.
That was a really good deal.
Yeah.
And I really
Where do I turn this in?
yeah, every session was, the greatest learning experiences you can possibly have.
Tell me about how you communicate with directors as far as when they're
Northern Guard Tower.
this is the kind of
I
sound that
communicate.
Oh, so he's here, I think, right? Yeah, I think he's there. All right, let's go there.
Musical technology vocabulary.
Okay.
It's always.
For example.
Do you want it a little?
I'll stick to the road. Or I could do a quest on... Wait, let me sell my shit
Do you
first.
want it a little bit more emotional? Do you want it a little bit colder? It's because
What's on your
actually,
mind?
if you get into musical language, and you're starting to talk, a lot of it is about dynamics.
Right.
For instance, I know that instruments don't sound good when you play them really loud. When you hit drums really hard, they just go ping.
Right.
Right. When you sit next to Steve Gadd,
he plays so quietly.
he plays so quietly, and
Yeah.
and the sound just blooms.
Yes.
Right. So it's a simple thing to say to a drummer. Just be a little bit more on top, but be a little quieter. I want to hear the sound of your drums. I don't want to hear the ping. And directors, I mean, look, I used to do a lot of commercials, and I mean, what drove me crazy when the director would say, "This is true, can you make it sound more like an avocado?" I learned that at the end of the day, what is really important is to use language which is clear, emotionally clear. And the other thing that I do when I have big orchestral sessions, when it's like a gladiator film or something like that, just big, I take all the leaders of the orchestra out for dinner the night before the first session.
Why is that?
Because then I have people in the orchestra that have gone through the parts while we were at dinner. So I have my lieutenants already. You know? So when I say, well, actually it should be this or that and the other, they're already translating. The bass section is already translating to the bass section what it's supposed to be. The violas are already, and somebody already knows what this movie is about and what this music is.
Yeah, this is fine. This is really good. I'm gonna do this.
Because you have to have your allies in the orchestra.
These are easy quests. I think they're relatively safe.
Go in and they just read it, because they're fabulous at that. But then you have to go and waste an enormous amount of time to go and explain what the attitudes are.
And I know where they are, at least some of them.
Plus, I like them. I like going out to dinner with my muso friends, you know?
Hans, they have such elaborate sound libraries now, or orchestra, where you can put an orchestra at your fingertips.
Yeah, I started that.
I mean, you
They're right here.
really started that.
I started that.
Give us the history.
But I'll tell you the history.
How long ago that was?
God, I don't know how long ago it was, but I think that it was early 80s or something like that. And the orchestras were getting really freaked out by sampling, by synthesizers and stuff like this. So the players in London and I love the players in London, and I love the rooms, I love the studios, because they're proper halls, or, in the case of Air, it's really a church, and I love the ambience. So I said to them, look, if you let me sample you, I can play the directors what it will sound like with an orchestra, because orchestras were sort of going out of fashion. It was a time of...
They hit really hard.
Giorgio Moroder, Midnight Express. It's like synthesizers were hip, and here was the synthesizer.
I should be very careful.
I want to bring orchestras back, and the only way I can do that, because they're expensive, is if I play the director what it would sound like with an orchestra, and then he'll get the producer to give us the money so that we can go overseas or wherever we go and
Hire an orchestra.
hire the orchestra. And of course, the advantage I had with the orchestra was I was sampling the same players sitting in the same seats with the same mics as later on I was going to record. So when I have a tendency to do that, when I was overwriting a little bit in the complicated department, we could have sections where it would be like, don't worry about that, I got that covered with the samples, So there was the safety net and the dinner parties where I would be talking to the players on the night before. I could actually play them what it was, and they could see on their parts, they could hear where in the orchestra they were sitting, so they had context. And then, of course, my friends at Spitfire thought that was all a really good idea, and they sort of made a business out of it. Well, I didn't make a business out of it. My business was writing film scores and persuading directors that it was a good idea to go and hire a real orchestra. And it is a good idea, because it's still, I don't care how good the technology gets. In fact, it's quite an interesting, or for me, it's quite an interesting thing. So I demo up, I program the living daylights out of that stuff, right? And the piece of music becomes laser sharp, the emotional expression of one person, me, right? And then when you give it to the orchestra, there is still that focus, but somehow it choruses by the slight different attitudes, emotions of all the other players. Then it becomes alive, and it's really this remarkable thing, And it's, for me, what is so important is it's a sign of how advanced and sophisticated we can get as human beings, because we can do something together and express an emotion together and experience great joy doing it.
This sampling that you've done in creating these all these different libraries, you changed the way that people...
Yes, for better or for worse, because there were some people who never could get into the technology, who were just writing on paper. But I mean, when I first came here to Hollywood, I thought this was going to be the place with the best technology. No, it was terrible.
Right.
It was terrible. It was people scribbling away and then writing short scores and then giving it to their orchestrator. I experienced it on one film that I did with a friend of mine. You know, we were sort of sharing the score, and he was using his orchestrator, and the guy had written harp glisses and fluty bits, you know, and the director was freaking out because it wasn't what he had heard in the demo, etc., and it certainly wasn't right for the film. And I said to the orchestrator, "Did you not look at the film?" He said, No. I just embellished. I just, you know." And there is a difference between writing, you know, music which is going to be performed in a concert hall, and that is its reason for being, as opposed to the stuff I do, which is film music. It's supposed to support something. And no, there are no harp glisses in my outer space.
Right. When you're looking at a film that's been cut, the film composer is really the last person that works on a film to a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
What about the pressure of that, Hans? Do you ever even think about it anymore? All these people.
Trust me, that if I'm not thinking of it, there are a lot of people who have the habit of reminding me of it. The editor, of course, is my best friend. Inevitably, actually, the editor I'm working with on the Dune movies, and I first worked with in 1988.
Wow.
So we go back, and he went to music school. He went to the Royal Academy, Joe Walker.
Okay.
And I didn't. So sometimes Joe puts music in as a temp, and it's
Ooh, he didn't even go to music school.
never heard. You know, it's like wild, modern, crazy, fabulous, you know, and he just gives you a music lesson while he's at it, editing the film, you know. And it's great to have that sort of a relationship, you know, whereby he completely understands how difficult it is what I do, and so he cuts in a very musical way. I mean, the editor is always my drummer, you know. There's a chap called Chris Levinson who cut Crimson Tide. And there was a 7.5-minute scene. And music editor Bob Barry and I, we sort of felt that there was an underlying tempo to it. That he must have had a piece of music in there and had cut to this piece of music.
Interesting.
And we figured out what the tempo was.
Okay.
And then I asked him, and he said, no, I just cut it freehand.
Wow.
You know, good editors have a good sense of rhythm.
Let's talk about something, because people that are watching this that might not know when we've used this term temp.
Oh, okay. Temp is, while you're editing your film, you have to get ready to show it to an audience to just sort of see what's working and what's not working. So usually you have to put temporary music in. And sometimes people like the aforementioned Bob Badamy will trip me up by putting in Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings, but done on choir.
Okay.
And I'm now supposed to beat that, right?
Right.
So that was like a bad week. But really what it is like, you know, there's temporary music in it. And now you have a choice. You can go and say, oh yeah, okay, I like that style. I get this. I can do this and sort of copy it. Or you can go, hey, I have a whole other idea, and I'm going to just go and throw this temp out and do the other thing. Or you end up, which has happened more than once, that the temp is something you wrote a couple of years ago, and you go, oh no.
They want that.
They want that.
What do you do then, Hans?
Yeah, there are certain pieces of mine that keep
popping up.
Keep popping up. Yeah, and it's like, but you don't understand. This is as good as I got in that style. That's all I can do. So the only thing I can do is you go and buy the piece. Go and buy the piece, because if I move one note, it'll be something else.
Right.
You know, and you won't like it.
Right.
And the problem that everybody in the film business has, is that you're constantly being asked to do something new and original and innovative. And then you do it, and then you just see the shock of the new on their faces the first time they hear it. And now I got really good at saying, why don't you live with it for a little bit? You know, Terrence Malick, he's a dear friend, and I did Thin Red Line with him.
Inventory is full.
And he hadn't done a film in 25 years, and his last composer was Ennio Morricone, and you can't get any better than that. So I wrote this piece, and I dragged it over. Actually, I was working in the cutting room. So I wrote the piece, and I played it to Terry, and he's going, "Oh, Hans, that's not film music. I mean, you know, the tune, nobody will ever be able to remember this. Oh, that's, you know, okay, fine. I love writing music, so if somebody tells me, ditch it, I ditch it, you know? It just gives me another opportunity to write some more music. So a couple of weeks go by, and now I'm in my room here, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and the phone rings, and it's Terry. And he's going, "What is this?" And he starts singing something to me. It sounds familiar. And I'm going, "That's that piece you said nobody could remember." And he goes, "Actually, it's really rather good. I think we should use it." So I learned that people want new, but new is scary. And they can't, unless you wind things down to the lowest common denominator with a lot of familiarity in it, with a lot of familiar moves in it. You have to beg them for some time to get used to it. You know, so it's not quite as new and not quite as shiny. And then suddenly, you know, we're going to be all right.
When you program an orchestra, if you're doing a mock-up of a scene, and then you actually bring in the orchestra, and the director's already heard it and used your music in it, your mock-up of it, and then they hear the actual players play, and then they're like, well, that doesn't sound the same. How often does that happen?
It happens. It happens, you know, and you finish the session and you just say, okay, we'll just go with the samples. You know, it's not the whole film. You know, it's always just like a little bit, you know, a little thing, which they got very used to, how 16-bit samples, you know,
right,
with maybe not the best D to A and A to D converter sound, you know. I mean, they have a sound, you know, so, you know, and sometimes that's the sound you know, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with, but what I am going to do is make the orchestra play it beautifully, nonetheless, because they earned that right. You know, simple as that.
How many times have you watched a film while you're working on it by the time that you're finished with it?
Not that much. The whole film, well, with Chris Nolan, I mean, Chris would have a really good way of working, where every Friday we would watch the whole film. And it would really be nibbling away at the beginning, you know, and so each Friday, a whole bunch of problems had been solved, and we were now focusing on another set of problems.
Would you start in a certain part of the film and watch to the end, or you watch the whole thing?
No, just watch the whole thing.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is what a film is. The whole thing.
Yes.
You know. I don't think we ever watched it more than 9 times. It's like Ridley Scott used to say, you know, he's like a cat. He has 9 lives on a movie, and then he doesn't feel anything anymore.
You have to watch it all the way through, though, to kind of get a feel for the flow.
Yes, you do. I remember Dunkirk. We had run out of time because I was going on tour. Mm-hmm. And I got a phone call from Chris on the tour bus about this one scene, and there was a problem with it. And I said, you know, look, what you do is you take this piece of music and you put it onto this cut, and then I could remember the shot sequence, you know. So that sometimes I can't quite remember what's going on in the shots, but I know the shot sequence. I know, you know, how long the shot is. I know what the color is. I know how bright it is. So I made
I mean, this guy has been doing this for like 40 years.
I sort of dictated to him.
He probably has everything, all that knowledge in his little finger, you know?
Over here, take this, put that over there. Film came out. Film was fine.
Film was great.
Right.
He knows.
Live shows that you've been doing for now 10 years. Why did you start to do it?
Because I was bullied into it. I was mercilessly bullied into it by Johnny Marr and Pharrell Williams, who sat me down on the other couch over there, and they sat, really close, so I couldn't get up. And they said things to me like, you have to have the courage to look the audience in the eye. You have to have the courage to come out behind the screen and do things in real time. And I kept saying, no, I get stage fright, which is absolutely true. They said that's not an excuse. That is just a byproduct, Basically, everyone, if you don't have stage fright, you're not feeling anything. You're not being honest with yourself. And they couldn't win the argument. And so after about an hour, they got up. Johnny walked out the door first, and Pharrell sort of stood in the door and said, look, I'm playing the Grammys this year. Do you want to play guitar for me? I thought, only an idiot would say no. And so I did that, and it was Pharrell's show, and he was the most... he was so kind because he just kept his eye on me during the whole life thing, just to make sure I was all right. And then I had a friend in London called Harvey Goldsmith, who, you go, Harvey, David Bowie. Oh yeah, I used to put him up in this in this club over there. Bruce Springsteen. Oh yeah, I was in New York and this guy told me to go and see this band, not the main band, but the support band. And it was Bruce Springsteen, and he was great. So I said to him, I wanted to bring you to London. And Bruce said, what do you mean London? We only just got to New York. So, and then Harvey did Live Aid, which is really how I met him, because I had friends doing Live Aid, etc. So I phoned Harvey. I said, do you think if I did a live show, anybody would come? He goes, yeah, I think so. And I said, so what do you think it should be? It's like Albert Hall, orchestral some music. And he goes,
I can't carry anymore.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Hammersmith, which is where I saw Bowie, where I saw Humble Pie.
Oh shit, I didn't even notice this.
Everybody.
That's good.
Hammersmith. We'll book it for 2 nights and we'll put 1 night up for sale and see how it goes. And we sold out, and so he could say, by popular demand, he put up the 2nd night. And Johnny and Pharrell came to play and be supportive, which was great. The audience didn't know that was going to happen, so that was like a lot of screaming. And first night went great, so I went, great. That'll be the end of the, of the stage fright. Next night, oh my God, So then I realized that you just had to go. That is just what happens.
Yes, that's part of it.
That's part of it. So don't fight it. Just go with it. That you now have to go and throw up. It's probably good for you. And then somehow that whole thing sort of became a tour. We sort of ticketed across Europe, and then we ticketed across America, and we did it very badly, and we actually lost a lot of money. We made a lot of money in Europe and then lost it all in America. And so now we know how to deal with America much better. I mean, so now we know how to do it. And really, while I was doing it, the film business sort of became this other thing where it was mainly about superheroes. And I think I feel a little bit guilty because I think Batman Begins might have started something off. I mean, I did Spider-Man, I did Wonder Woman, so, it's like, and that was enough. For me, that was enough.
Yeah.
But there weren't any other movies really coming and being made, and so...
Why did the film studios want to make those movies? Because you could do sequels and
because
they
you
make
could
money.
do sequels and they make money, and you only have to make one costume for the guy, and you just have to build one Gotham City.
Is it at the expense of developing new stars?
I think it's at the expense of developing new stories.
New stories.
You know, I'm old now, but you know, I mean, I remember doing very daring movies, you know, that had full support from the studio. Look, Gladiator is a really stupid idea. It's like men in skirts, you know, bashing each other over the head, and it wasn't going to be cheap, you know. I don't know if you could say to somebody, we're going to do Gladiator, and oh, by the way, CG hasn't been fully developed yet. And actually, this room, literally where you're sitting, was the Gladiator cutting room. And I remember us having a meeting with not just the producers and Ridley, but the studio. And we were out of money. Like, and as you said, you know, the composers always lost.
Oh man, this guy is like kicking ass
And
here.
it was basically, I think
There's
it's
two of
the
them.
piano score, you know. Okay. And so the guy from the studio, who I actually like very much, said, "Okay, I'll give you guys another $1 million, but you right now we're going to divide it up, you know. So visual effects, how much do you need?"
$1 million.
Well, we don't actually need another flyover shot of over the Colosseum. I think we're okay with one. So that was like 4 violas or something,
Right.
you know. And so no, literally we bartered, you know, we bartered the orchestra. And at one point Ridley said, "Why $1 million? Why not 750,000 or $1.5 million?" And he said, "Because I'm the studio and I'm completely arbitrary." Which was so fabulously truthful. And you don't quite get that anymore. You don't quite get the guys who take the risks and really love movies. I'm starting to have this feeling that people are running the show that don't actually love movies.
Business people.
Yeah, it's a terrible business.
Yeah.
You know, the risks are unbelievable. So if you don't love it, you're not going to take the risks.
Movies like Rain Man, you did the score for. Now that's a simple movie in a way.
Yeah,
Very
it was.
simple movie.
I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and I did it all. I literally did it all in Barry Levinson's office because I didn't know anybody in Los Angeles. I had brought my engineer, Big Al, from London, you know, East End of London. We got very excited when they put up the one sheet, the huge one sheet up on Sunset Plaza, and we were tourists, and we had our photos taken in front of it because we knew it was going to be our only adventure in Hollywood. But yeah, I did it all on a Fairlight. I mean, it was great, you know, because Barry and I talked about it. It's a road movie. And what do road movies do? Oh, well, it's either jangly guitars or it's strings. So let's not do jangly guitars, let's not do strings. You know?
Now that kind of a movie is
Impossible to make.
impossible. They would never make a movie like that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I did a really interesting movie last year with Steve McQueen called Blitz, about a little boy, just Second World War, London, bombs falling, with the most
Inventory is full.
atonal, dissonant score. I actually said to Steve, I'm going to make a score that you don't want to listen to, and we'll never get a soundtrack album. He loved that idea, and he loved what I was doing. And then the producers heard it, who are old friends of mine, and I just got a text. All it said was, "That takes balls."
Far away.
So I was still able to make a movie like that.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, within Europe, you know, within a company. I mean, look, it started with these guys. We did My Beautiful Laundrette together, which, you know, a very unknown Daniel Day-Lewis, but the first interracial gay kiss ever on a screen. You know, it's fabulous when you sat amongst the audience and you just felt the jaws dropping. You know.
Talk more about your live show. You have a movie that I watched.
Are you going to go talk about how the guitars are out of tune or something like that?
No, I'm not going to talk about the guitar. The guitars are not out of tune. No. I mean, to come from to come from 10 years ago to now, this is incredibly elaborate now.
Well, and at the same time, it's not, because here are a few things that I thought about between the Pharrell and Johnny up on stage at Hammersmith. I thought about, you know, when people go and see orchestral music, usually, unless it's an incredibly flamboyant conductor, it's just a guy with his butt to you, standing there. And it's other bunch of guys and girls in penguin suits reading the paper like, you know, a bad marriage on a Sunday morning. And so I thought the first thing I need to do is I need to get rid of the conductor. Because we have technology these days. We have screens which we can put up, which can have streamers and bar numbers and bar counts. And you don't have to sit there and count the empty bars before you hit the bell or the gong or the other thing. You just, you know, and you have in-ear monitoring. And I'm particularly bad at, like, drifting off into music.
Man, this drop rate is so horrible.
I have one of my engineers recorded.
Maybe I'm killing the wrong bears though, but
2, 3, 4. Wake up, you know. So the technology became very important in being able to free give each member in the band, and especially the orchestra, because we're a band and we're an orchestra,
right,
and give the orchestra players an autonomous view, an autonomous sightline to the audience, so there could be a connection made. Our orchestra comes from Odessa, and we toured a couple of times with them, and then the last time, actually it wasn't the last time, but one of the times, literally the war started. And so we managed to get a certain amount of them out. Some of them, like, you know, literally by luck, the car broke down, but one other player was driving past them and saw, you know, and picked them up and stuff like this. So, hairy stuff. We get to the end of the tour and we're going, now what? They can't go back.
Right.
So the German government, which you would think is full of paperwork and bureaucracy, instantly went, no, we'll help you guys. We have these holiday villages up in the Alps. We'll give them houses and we'll give them a stipend. You know, next time you go on the road, you know where to find them. That's been really important to us. And I mean, you know, we brought them to America. You know, I mean, we don't leave no man behind.
Right.
You know? The band is incredibly international and incredibly diverse. You know, 3 girl drummers. You know, Colombian bass player Pedro Eustache, woodwind player from Venezuela, Lebo, who I did Lion King with, from South Africa, Lisa Gerard from Australia. You know, it's like it just sort of carries on. You know, it's like we are the United Nations.
I like it that you like Lisa Gerard, for example, from that did Gladiator.
Exactly. No, who else should be singing?
Right, exactly.
You know, and Loa Kotler, who
all right, get to go back to Stormwind.
She's from Brooklyn. You know,
eventually.
So you know. So yeah, we're very international.
Let's follow this priest, because I think she's going to
There's a scene in the movie that
the cave, right?
Jerry Bruckheimer talking about pirates, about the score that there's another composer that had
Didn't work out.
I'll try it. I'm not sure if I can do it, but I'll try to tackle the mine.
Tom Cruise and Ed Zwick on The Last Samurai that I wasn't going to be moonlighting on anything else. And I get a phone call from my dear friend Gore Verbinski going, will I? Oh, hang on, I need to go back. I was working with Gore on The Ring, and I said, what are you doing next? And he goes, I think I'm going to do this Pirates movie. And what, from the ride from the Disneyland? That's a terrible idea, you know? And like every time he came in, I'm going, how's the Pirates movie going? He goes, well,
Alright, this is great. So there might be a chance for me to do this.
So anyway, off he goes, different composer. And then I get a phone call on a Sunday. I think I'm in a bit of trouble. Can you come in and have a look at the movie? I will look at the movie. And
Oh man, this is so dangerous. This is too dangerous. No, I'm leaving.
wonderful. It's funny. It's exciting.
I'm leaving. Oh god, yeah, I'm definitely leaving. Yeah.
It's really good. But I promised Tom and Ed that I was.
So were you in the middle of that movie?
I was in the middle of Last Samurai.
Okay.
Yeah, and so another composer here, this guy called Klaus. I said, I'll help, but Klaus can do it, right? Going, okay, he sings a few months, Klaus Bauer. And I walk in on a meeting where Klaus is playing them some stuff which is sort of avant-garde, and I just see and he's explaining to them what they should be listening for. You know, never explain your music.
No.
If you have to talk,
explain,
music, you know,
you're losing.
Yeah.
I just need 4 pieces of mining gear, but it's gonna be hard to get because of all these people here.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna go home.
I mean, it's both good and bad that everybody's here, you know?
Somewhere on the internet you can find it. It's shameful, but you can find it. So I wrote.
It's very dangerous. Like, they can respawn at any second behind you, you know?
And it starts off really wobbly because I don't know what I'm doing yet, right? And then, ooh, here comes the
I'll fuck around here for a while.
here's another one. And now I'm on a roll, and I have one idea after the other, but
What am I
now the
doing?
fingers are starting to give up because I'm really, really fucking tired. Right. So like the drums stop in the middle of a bar, but you know, the little fingers are still sort of out of time going, and there's another tune, and there's another little tune. So that became the music basically for 3 or 4 of those pirate movies, one night.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's art, but, you know, it's fun. It had to be fun, and I kept thinking it had to be like,
Nope, not gonna make it, no.
rock and roll.
Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. There's too many people.
I mean, Johnny's whole act is modeled on Keith Richards.
Keith Richards, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So the main thing was not to use electric guitars, because that would have given the game.
What am I doing?
So what did Jerry say? I can't remember.
Jerry said that you basically rescued him.
Well, I suppose I did that night.
How often does that happen? That someone has written something and a director friend of yours calls you and say, look, we don't have, we need your help. That happened a number of times.
Yeah. The problem is you're out of time. Like there's a Nancy Myers movie, and she's very particular. And the head of music at Sony, who's a really good friend of mine, phoned me, and you know, she wasn't asking for help or anything. She was just telling me her woes, and she said, "Well, we're finishing this movie in 5 days, and we don't have a tune." I said, "Well, I got some tunes lying around. Let me send some over." I hadn't seen the movie. So then Nancy phones, and she goes, "That's really nice of you, and they're
Man, this is
tunes,
good.
but they're not this movie. I think you should see the movie."
Okay.
So I went and saw the movie and said, "Okay, I'll write
lucky.
you something new." And I was going to write it for my friend Heitor Pereira, who's a brilliant, beautiful Brazilian guitarist. So him and I are like in the room together. I'm writing the tune. I get a phone call from the head of music at Sony going, "We're coming over." I'm going, "I'm not ready." "I'm not ready" is not something that they hear. So the door bursts open, the 2 ladies come in, and Hater doesn't know what the tune is, but he sort of knows
I'm
what
gonna make my way here. Yeah, this is perfect.
Okay, fine.
Perfect.
Play
Can't be better.
It's at the side
And
of
I
the
got
room,
a
you can't actually see it.
almost a clear way out.
I'm playing much too fast, of course, because I'm really nervous. And I get through the tune, and I look at her, and she's crying. Okay, that's not good. It's a comedy. And she goes, "That's absolutely not what I imagined for my movie." I'm going, "That's double not good." And she goes, "It's really beautiful." I don't know if beautiful is the word we want here. I'm going, "So I can write you another one." She goes, "No, no, no, it's perfect. It's just I never thought of it like that for my movie." And we had 5 days to go and do the whole movie, you know. So, but these are exceptions, you know. They make for funny stories afterwards, but you know, there have been quite a few moments where I just
I still need to kill a bunch of bears and boars.
kill me.
Let's get the fuck out of
Tell me
here.
about your setup here.
These
and
guys
your
are starting to
rooms
respawn
here
and could be really dangerous.
Me needing a studio, and we found this building. Everyone told us we were idiots, because if you want to do Hollywood movies, you should be in Hollywood, not Santa Monica. But the last building on this block is Jackson Brown's studio.
Okay.
I'd been recording at Jackson Brown's studio, and I saw a for lease sign on this building. So we got this building, and then I was working on some Jerry Bruckheimer film. He goes, "Oh, this is really nice. Are there any other?" And I'm going, "I'm sure there are, you know." So he moved on to
Oh, look, a horde.
then James Newton Howard, and then J.J. Abrams has
Why is he here? Level
thing, you know. So everybody's moved down.
40 or so, he seems.
Favreau lives on this street, you know. So I just wanted to be near to the beach. But one of the other things,
Alright, well, at least I know it's not a
idea of having other
PvP server, because the guy is yellow to me.
nearby, you know,
Look at
and
him.
like Harry Gregson Williams used to be here, and he was my assistant.
I want a
at
bear.
first,
I want a bear.
became, a composer on his own right, and I remember
Come to me, bear.
a piece which I thought, "Oh, this is pretty sexy," and opened the door, and Harry was outside. I'm saying, "Hey, Harry, will you just have a quick listen to something?" Showing off, right? And I play the piece, and Harry goes, "Oh, Hans, that's just not worthy of you." But that's good. You know what I mean? It's like you get an honest answer from somebody you respect and who understands how it all works, etc. So I would have these assistants like Harry or John Powell, and you know, after a few years they would become independent. They start having a career. You know, another pirate story, Ramin Djawadi. We're totally stuck on this one scene. You know, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. You know. And we're having this meeting with Gore and Jerry, everybody in the room, and I thought Ramin was an intern making coffee. I didn't know he played music. And he says, "Well, when you go home, do you mind if I have a go at it?" Of course not, you know. Knock yourself out. So the next day, and Ramin is very polite and very, not shy, but just, he's very polite. So next day we run through what we did get done, and which is working great, and you know, it's a good.
Where does this lead? Oh, to the wetlands. Alright.
Jerry's just about to get up and leave and go, "Oh, hang on, Ramin, did you do anything?" He goes, "Yeah, do you want to hear it?" And it's the most perfect scoring of a scene I probably ever saw.
Wow.
It was like, I mean, we all went, this scene was shot to this music, you know? And it uses the right theme and everything. And he will tell you, in fact, he says it quite a bit. I said to him, "That's the last cup of coffee you ever made for me."
When I heard Guthrie had joined your band, I thought to myself, wow, Hans knows.
I'm gonna sell it though.
To me, the best guitar player out, period. That best improviser.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Took a while to get him because he thought I was a 14-year-old fanboy. He didn't believe I was.
Right?
Oh, you wrote to him and he was like, I don't believe it's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll sell it.
Great musicians. I mean, look, my orchestrator forever was
Spider-Ricker, bear meat, ears,
you know, from the Zappa band.
and
So
I need boar.
with, you know,
Yeah, I still need boar shit.
Zappa and listening to that sort of complexity of playing and that sort of perfection in playing. Yeah. And you know, it is like I used to write these impossible parts and give them to Bruce and go, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Oh, they can play that. They can play that," you know. And then we'd get to the orchestra session, and there'd be like a few dead people and a lot of falling over stuff, and you know. But eventually they would play it, you know.
What are some other artists that you're fans of as far as, you know, you talk about
I
Zach.
think there's a lot of bores on the other side.
Oh, harmonically, anybody that plays guitar in Brazil, you know. Bolacete, Louis Bonfa, you know. Baden-Powell, you know. You name it. I mean, just the harmonic language is just incredible.
Why did that harmonic language develop there like that?
This is the question that we keep asking ourselves. And I asked this question of Heitor Pereira, who is Brazilian and knows all those chords and plays like this. You know, and what I love with him is, you know, I do a 3-chord wonder, you know, C, F, G, you know. And he goes, well, you could play it like this, but you can play it like this. Oh, you can substitute this, and da, 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 da. And suddenly, you know, like, whoa.
But why
It's
that
got
language?
sophistication.
You know, Jobim,
Portuguese.
1964, girl from Ipanema, this beautiful.
I think because they speak Portuguese. That's the only reason I can find, because which is sort of a poetic language, you know. But nobody's given me a definitive answer ever. So I'm a huge fan of them. And then on the other hand, how can I not be a Kraftwerk fan or a Yellow Magic Orchestra fan, or you know, I mean, so that. Then there's a little Italian band called PFM. I love. I
It's too
always
far away.
Obviously, I'm a fan of my little brother, Pharrell Williams. I don't know. I mean, it's the world is full of beautiful musicians who are getting royally screwed by them.
All right, perfect. Now I need bores.
But
Bores.
Because once you start playing music,
And I
there's
think
no
there's a
way
lot of
to
them.
be playing
Yeah,
music.
here. There's
We
one.
are our own worst enemies.
Hans, when were they not getting screwed by their record companies? If they're not getting screwed by the record companies, they're getting screwed by Spotify and the record company.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it's like you used to have a record deal, then you had a certain percentage, but then it would be streaming, and the record company would basically give you a percentage of the streaming royalties, which were nothing already, and so you were basically in minus figures.
Right.
If you wrote a piece of music, you were actually basically declaring bankruptcy. So film is still good. I believe games are good financially. I don't play games. I'm not of that generation.
Yeah.
And the touring thing is really
There we go,
good.
perfect.
And I love it. I mean, I love the films I do.
No, man, somebody got to them all.
I'm doing well.
I always wondered if the music that you write, is it always work for hire?
There's always work for hire.
It's always
well,
work for
it's
hire.
always work for. No, it's not always work for hire. You know, if they really don't have any money, then it's mine. You know, and I've done some big movies where it wasn't about it. You can do it.
Wow.
You can do it. But that must mean that the director and the producer really want you.
How many times though do they come to you and say, "Look, our budget is, we're out of money, and can you do this?"
Do you ever hear True Romance?
Yeah.
You know, it's 9 marimba players. Start off with Tony saying, "Hans, it's gonna be great, this movie. We got a real budget, we can have a real orchestra, we can do all this stuff."
Oh no.
And he comes back from the shoot and he goes, "I've spent all the money." I'm going, "What do you got left?" "I've got enough for 9 musicians." And I thought, let's book the most of useless musicians. And I knew this. I knew that piece. You know, that piece is written in the 1256. It's an old German, you know, Gassenhauer. It's an old German piece. But it sort of seemed like the right thing to do. You had all this violence, and it, you know, and her saying, "Oh, you're so romantic," and it just the innocence of that piece seemed really right. So actually, not having a big orchestra, Tony having spent all the money, and I loved Tony, you know, dearly. I mean, it was always an adventure with him, you know, and I think I sort of knew that wasn't ever going to be big money to begin with. So you adapt, you know, you adapt. I mean, Hater and I have done films, you know, guitar and string pad, you know. Some of those things became the most creative things we did.
What comes first? Is it the sound? Is it a sound and then you're inspired to write something based on a sound, or you just...
It sort of comes together, and it's the most important...
Here, piggy, piggy, piggy.
I sit on my hands in front of my computer. I don't touch the keyboard until I hear something in my head, because otherwise I'm just going to play the same damn chords over and over again.
Great to meet
So
you.
like I said about Johnny...
Do you live here, buddy? You live here.
I had the tune and I had the chords, and they're sort of weird. I don't actually know what the fourth.
Oh, you have a wife here as well.
Nobody knows what the fourth chord is. And
Mr. and Mrs. Deepwater, right?
sounds.
Yeah.
But usually I need to know what
Nice.
I want to say musically. I mean, what the notes are, what the tune is. I look. What did I learn from Stanley Myers? I learned from Stanley Myers: if you don't have a tune, you have nothing.
Right.
You know, if you don't have a tune, you got nowhere to go. So sometimes the tune is a bunch of chords with the top note just leading. You know, sometimes that's a tune, and then every time, I just go Beethoven's Fifth. Da 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 da. How did he know? How did he know that, you know, kids are walking past the piano and they just go da 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 da, right? But they don't make like a magic castle of colors and invention out of that. How did he know the possibilities? So so one of the things I try to do is I try to make my tunes be playable with one or two fingers.
Interesting.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you listen to Time from Inception, it's two fingers. The whole tune is two fingers. Go wild in the orchestration. Go wild.
Man, that's beautiful, right? That's such a
tune
beautiful
needs
tune.
to just be honest.
What of your scores do you feel pushed you out of your comfort zone the most? Or do you feel like every score you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone?
It's really a question for Alejandro, because it's like, you know, he being my assistant, he never gets to go home. And he gets to suffer because I'm always out of the comfort zone, and it's killing me. But it's good, you know. It's like because here's the problem. I'm having a conversation with the director right at the beginning, and I come up with an idea, and I tell him what the idea is. So now I have to make good on this. So I was doing this movie called Power of One, which was about South Africa and Zulus, and somebody had given me a book about Zulu music, and the first line in it is, there are no indigenous instruments in the Zulu culture because they're a warrior tribe and you don't really want to carry a piano with you while you go warring, right? So they sing. So I said, I have this idea, I want to go and make it a vocal and percussion only score.
Okay.
And I'll be able to do that here, right? You know, Andre Crouch singers, you know, it's like great singers here. Man, it sounded gospel, and then it sounded more gospel, and it was really gospel, and it wasn't, there was nothing African about it. And I went back to Warner Brothers, and I'd spent all the money, and I went, I'm sorry, I failed. And the producer said, no, you haven't failed. You just made one mistake. You are not in South Africa. So that was on a Thursday. On a Monday, I was in a warehouse in Soweto with one Calric mic hanging from the ceiling. and
It's too
my
far
friend
away.
Lebo standing on a tannoy conducting the most fabulous rabble of a South African choir, you know, and the same notes were not the same notes, you know. Yeah, it's been somewhat adventurous, you know, this life. I mean, it's a good life.
Do you ever binge watch shows? Do you ever find
Sure,
something?
of course I do.
Do you think about the music ever?
No,
Never,
not
right?
at all. Not at all.
Never doesn't even occur to you, right?
No, it's just no. I'm watching the show. You know, sometimes I hear something which I don't like, and I go, "That's when I notice it." Or sometimes I hear something which is, you know, which I just think is absolutely stunning, you know, and then I pay attention to that. But most of the time, I watch the show.
Is a film score something that shouldn't be noticed?
No, I think it should be. See, this is the part. This
Oh,
is
shit.
what I wanted to
All
prove
right.
with the shows.
I need one more,
Now
though.
you got me. I wanted to go and play the music without showing a single image of the films, which is what we do.
Right.
Because I wanted to prove that it could stand on its own 2 feet.
Yeah.
You know, that it had legitimate value. And then it became sort of an interesting thing to sort of reverse the whole idea and make a movie of us playing film music.
Not enough piggies. Not enough piggies for everybody.
Rather than the film of us playing it, you know? If you think about it, it's a pretty illogical or weird thing that you saw.
I can't buff him because he already
film
has.
music without a film, in a film.
Well, you saw, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, how can you resist listening to a John Williams piece? How can you resist? How can you think of that as anything other than high art? You know, Close Encounters of the, you know, it's. And I don't mean you know, the main thing. I
Warriors
mean
pants.
everything. It's
Nice.
like brilliant, you know. Ennio Morricone, what a bunch of tunes that, you know, I mean, the Mission, it's just, and the Westerns, and, you know, Jerry Goldsmith, all those masters, you know, and then there's Quincy Jones, you know.
What is your advice for young composers?
Get a real job.
No, you know,
No, that's exactly not the advice I would give them, because everybody gives you that advice. You know, when I walk into a room like a party or something, without sort of where people don't really know me, and you know,
Is there such a place?
there sort of is.
Go on.
No, there sort of is amongst bankers or something. You know, but Americans have a habit of very quickly asking you, "So what do you do?" I go,
And what do you say?
I'm a musician. And they go, no, what do you do for a living? And it takes a while before I can persuade them that I can actually make a living at this thing called music. So what's my advice to musicians? But you have to be incredibly lucky. I have somewhat a disdain for how much it costs to go to music school. I had one assistant who owed $250,000 in fees, and
Oh
she
my
had
God.
studied 20th century chamber music.
Oh my god,
I
it's
said to her, "You know
fucking
something,
nuts.
girl? You're gonna have a hard time making ends meet with 20th century chamber music." So my partner Steve, who runs the business, and our friend Russell Emanuel, who runs the library company, they were looking at how my assistants, like Harry Gregson Williams, Ramin, John Powell, you know, there's more, how they became successful in the film business. But it took really a long time. You know, they were my assistants for quite a while before. So they started this company next door called Bleeding Fingers.
Okay.
And the idea behind that was, I mean, we had an empty lot, and Chuck, who might be roaming around somewhere, and our architect designed basically tiny little studios, but really well functioning, you know, super soundproof, really good acoustics. And the idea was, if you were a young composer, you could
Yeah, got it.
Go
Alright,
in there.
perfect. Let's go turn that in.
get a job at Bleeding Fingers, and you could get paid from day one, you know, and you would be doing David Attenborough television shows, and you'd be doing like all sorts of really big things. So, Bleeding Fingers.
Then I feel like I could go back to Stormwind and slowly make my way to
Yeah,
Westfall.
go and make a living. I'm not entirely sure how other people do it. You know, I'm not entirely sure how other people, because the business has become more and more conservative. It's more and more concerned about playing it safe and therefore hiring me because I have a track record as opposed to some young, amazing talent. You know,
Because there's so much risk involved in making movies now, to convince somebody to have you write the score as opposed to some unknown person,
I've the finest
they're going to go
wares
with
in the
you.
land.
yes.
every time.
Plus, you
Should
have to think
wait
about
for
it
it
the
to-
other way as well. Think about the agent.
I've the
No.
finest wares in the land.
The agent's got a
on the
new
ground.
composer on his books, and there's a big film out there, right? So
Great to
if he
meet you.
phones for the new young composer, who maybe gets, I don't know, $10,000. Let's be real, $60,000
Okay.
to do the movie.
Yep.
Or he makes a phone call for me. The agent's going to make a lot more money if he makes that one call, which is a much easier call. So, you know, whichever way you look at it, your chances are pretty bad.
Right.
You know, and that's why I keep telling people: don't get an agent. Do not try to get an agent. Have an agent begging to represent you, you know, and because you've done something. I mean, I did Rain Man. That's when I got an agent because, hang on, this guy's got an Oscar nomination on his, you know, first American
Right.
movie. You know, yeah. I think he'll work out. You know, so. But I had done like bucket loads of movies beforehand.
All right, I'm gonna grind a little bit. I'm just gonna kill just random creatures
Did you ever
to get
imagine
my level up.
that technology would be where it is now?
Yeah, damn right.
You talked about the Fairlight.
Yes.
Talk about the Fairlight. People hear this like, what?
Standing up, what, the mythical beast?
The mythical beast. How much was a Fairlight when they first came out?
65,000 pounds.
Explain to people what the Fairlight was.
It was the first sampler. It was absolutely the very first sampler. Kim Ryrie and Peter Fogel. It's called the Fairlight because they wrote the whole software. They were actually trying to build a computer, and they were sitting on the beach in Australia, and the Fairlight is a little boat that goes by from one place to the other in Australia.
Oh my god, level 15.
So whenever the boat went by, they would
This might kill me, actually.
You know, and so when they had to come up with a name, originally it was called the Quasar, so it became the Fairlight. And
Shit. Wrong.
stupid
Wrong.
in London was my best friend, and so I managed to borrow one, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Let's go to that side.
I thought it was amazing, and my recording engineer thought it was absolute shit because it was 8-bit sampling, and there was no top end, and there was more aliasing and distortion than anything. So he was not only my recording engineer, he was my flatmate. So he took it apart and started playing around with it and putting new filters in and all sorts of things, and actually ended up as the head of software at Fairlight, even though he didn't know how to write software, and then he didn't know how to learn write software. So I had a somewhat very close relationship with Fairlight because my phone bill went up astronomically because he was forever making phone calls from London to Sydney, you know. But what was the Fairlight? It was the first sampler, and it had the greatest sequencer in the world in it called Page R, where you could see what was going on. You had a screen and you had a little touch pen, which was really horrible because if you think about it, holding your hand up like this
Right.
with actually quite a heavy pen,
Yeah.
you know, your arm would go. There were an enormous amount of misdesigned things in it, but God, was it great, the possibilities. And I always think it could only have come out of Australia because it was like this other world, it wasn't, on the other hand, you had the Synclavier from Dartmouth College, which was truly unaffordable.
Yes, way more expensive.
Way more expensive. I mean, between $250,000 and $500,000 then, you know.
Do you ever see yourself retiring?
No. I don't think musicians retire. Right? I think they get too old to play sometimes. It's like your fingers give out. But composing, look at Beethoven. I mean, yes, it's a tragedy that he lost his hearing, but
Didn't stop him.
No, because you compose in your head, I mean, until the Fairlight, you couldn't hear the full orchestra before you had the full orchestra there, And some of his finest works are those late quartets.
Late string quartets, absolutely. It's funny because everyone that I asked that question to says the same thing. Why would you ever retire?
I know. Well, here's the thing, because it's already built into what we do. We play music, so playfulness. As a child, you used to play. So why do you want to stop? You always loved playing, And yeah, sometimes it gets hard, but it's playing music and living a playful life. That's, to me, what it's all about, and that's why when I go up to the microphone for the first time, I am nervous, but I look out and I see people smiling, I mean, here I am, German.
There we go.
Grim Reaper.
Perfect.
Mr. No Humor. But no, they're smiling. So some things already.
Now, let's head back to Ironforge.
I make
Or maybe I can go directly to Stormwind.
Put a light on the audience so I know who I'm talking to. And what I do say to them is, look, I don't know how to do this stage thing. I don't have any stage presence. I don't do this. So
Right, just go directly to Stormwind. What am I going to do in Ironforge? I'm not going to do this.
And we're just having a chat,
Abandon this quest and go directly to Stormwind.
And some things will go wrong. And yes, I will announce the wrong song, and
Then in Stormwind, I'm going to train
turn to the right song and
new skills, and I'll see. I'll go to Stormwind. I'll fly there.
And the audience will be on your side. I mean, just before I did the very first show, so I don't have to name drop here.
I don't need to go to Ironforge at all.
I had a phone call from Paul McCartney, and he wanted me to come in and work with him. And I said, yeah, but I think I wanted to go and do this show, go and play with my band. But I have really bad stage fright, so you might be just saving me here by offering me, a project I can't say no to. He said, "Oh, stage fright! I had terrible stage fright. He didn't play for 3 years or so, and then he did a show in Paris, and I don't know which song it was, but he was playing the bridge when he was supposed to play the second verse, but he knew that his band was going to be." Knowing that he was making a mistake, and they were going to go to the bridge when it was supposed to be the bridge as opposed to going to the chorus. But no, they went to the chorus, so he just went stop, 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 stop. And the audience went wild, and they just loved it. And, and afterwards, Cilla Black said to him, "Paul, that was amazing. Do you do that every night?" And he said, that's the thing, they're on your sides. So he he really sort of helped me, you know, by going, they're on your side. Just talk to them, you know. Show your vulnerability. Show who you are. And I think that was the best advice I got. And that wasn't a bad chap to get good advice from.
Right. You look like you're having a great time on stage. I really want to come out and see the show.
It'll be a different show. You know, this is what I never thought I would end up with. You know, I'm trying to do a new show, and everybody's going, but hang on, you have to do Gladiator, you have to do whatever. And now I'm suddenly like Mick Jagger having to play Jumping Jack Flash at the age of 80, you know? So I want to see if I could go and break it, you know, and play more obscure things, you know. I don't know. I don't know what you will see.
Well, it's tough because there are things that you have to play.
And I have seen bands, I've gone to bands where I wanted to hear the hits and they didn't play the hits, and I was disappointed. You know, so I've had that experience. There's a whole new set of complications and a whole new set of things to learn, which is fun. Do you know what I mean? It's like new things to experiment with, new things to, I don't know, you know, it's play with. You know, just always remember you're a musician and you play. And if you play the wrong note,
play it again.
Play it again. Because so much of my stuff has been written by playing the wrong note and going, ooh, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know? I can do something with that, you know? It's just throwing a little bit of pepper into something which is a bit bland.
When I interviewed Sting, not to
I would like to hear about you.
I said, how important is surprise in music? And Sting's like, surprise is everything.
Absolutely.
He says, if I'm not surprised in the first 8 bars, I stop listening.
Oh, I would have said 4 bars. No, but you think about the pieces, you know, like Beethoven's Fifth, which starts off with the hook straight away, or Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings, and you go, I recognize it on the first chord.
Yeah.
You know, it's, those sort of amazing magical pieces, or Hendrix or Jeff Beck or anything, you know, first note, you know, and they got you.
Name a perfect song, a song that you think is just something that you think is a perfect song.
But you see, this is normal. You know, I always know what the perfect song is, and then somebody asks me, and I have no idea anymore. I mean, there are Paul Simon songs which are perfect. There are Manu Chao songs which I think are perfect. There are, God only knows, Beach Boys.
Perfect song.
Perfect song.
There you go. I love that.
That's the one.
Thank you so much for making time.
You're very welcome.
It's such an honor to meet you.
That is such rubbish. God, you know.
I had to say it.
No, you didn't.
Come on, Hans. No, it's so nice for you to invite me here. This is really fabulous place. It's such a vibe.
I really think we made a terrible mistake in the late 70s, early 80s with the beige studio, you know. And I don't ever think it sounded that good. It just was harsh. It was hard, you know. It wasn't romantic, you know. It wasn't poetic.
It's interesting because I go into studios when I'm not doing interviews at my studio. I do them at studios because to me that's where musicians feel the most comfortable. Yet I'm always amazed at how cold the studios are vibe-wise. They have no vibe.
You know, they think by being neutral, you can do any music in there. And I think you have to everything needs to come with some sort of an attitude, and with some sort of a style, and with some sort of an imprint of personality. And then you can go and do any type of music in there.
That being said, I made a video at Abbey Road Studios in Studio 2, and I've been to Air Studios. Air is beautiful. Abbey Road is good.
It's a dump.
Sterile. It's a dump. Okay, you said it.
But it's a glorious
It's a great dump.
Yeah. But Studio 2, you see, here's the problem with Studio 2.
Got this.
And I will get shot for this, but that's
Let's let's
Studio 2
sell
lives
some
on
shit.
the reputation of the Beatles.
yeah.
But if you listen to a Beatles record, everything is close
Great
mic.
to meet
Yes.
So nothing, the sound of the studio has nothing to do with it.
Well, I didn't even realize how big the room
Then
is.
let's go to the
But
bank.
it doesn't sound
And when
that
you look at
great.
the pictures, it's
And
all.
let's
they're
head back to
always
Westfall slowly. Oh no, let's go train first. Let's go
from the-
train.
from the
Yeah.
echo chamber that's
Absolutely,
there, and
yeah.
so you don't even. It's like, wait a minute, this room is like 60 feet long. It's this huge thing, yet everything is close mic'd.
Yeah, but my legs still hurt from.
We did a nice little expedition to Ironforge.
Studio 1 at Abbey Road is truly magical.
Yes.
So, here's a question for you. What's the Hollywood sound? Because I tell you what the Hollywood sound is. It's like Lawrence of Arabia. It's The English Patient. It's it's Star Wars. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's Gladiator. They were all recorded in England.
That's right.
The great Hollywood sound.
The Hollywood sound
Has to
is
be.
English recording studios.
English recording studios with English musicians.
Yes.
Which is, of course, an oversimplification because, once you get to Close Encounters and stuff like this, breathtaking American musicians,
But John Williams always went back.
Yeah. Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. As soon as you start labeling these things, the great Hollywood sound, you're doing such an injustice to everything that music is about. Music is about free and different cultures coming together and different cultures playing and different. I mean, there's a reason those rooms sound the way they do because, most of Hollywood is an earthquake place, so so you can't build super dense structures because they fall down in an earthquake. While in England, nobody cares about everything being brick,
Right.
and high. I mean, Abbey Road 1 is the way we imagine recorded music to sound, orchestral recorded music to sound. But that was the first recording studio, I believe, in the world. And it's the guys who designed, the architects who designed just up the road, the Hoover factory, the vacuum cleaner factory, right? They didn't know how to build a studio.
Yeah.
So that's
listening.
that is the sound we love, but it's partly because we're nostalgic.
Yeah. Hans, if you had to limit yourself,
Nice, got a new frostbolt. That's so good.
what would it be? And it's not the piano. What is the instrument?
Yes, I don't see I was going to go for the piano
Yeah,
because it's
what
got
is
the
the
wide
instrument?
range. Cello.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, it's got it's got the most possibilities. It's got a. I've done yet again. Tony Scott, spending all my money, all the music budget. I found this great lineup: 28 celli and 8 basses, 6 basses. Sorry, no violas, no violins, and nothing else. And you can do amazing things, and all you have to do is you have to sort of set them up in a circle that they can really see each other, because conducting
Could I just get,
doesn't quite
like-
work. It's much better if they just have eye contact.
I need
it's
to
the
make
most
this
powerful
thing,
sound. I mean, when you have them suddenly
and
hit,
then
you
just make this 10 times. For fuck's sake. Maybe I should have kept the green items
Scores.
and disenchanted them. Yeah, they definitely should have done that. Oh man.
Music and the visual.
Maybe I
are
can buy them back.
perfectly.
Wait, let me go find a
So the
vendor.
way you ask the
I don't
question
think
is
so, though,
good. So
but
it's not about the best.
It's not about the best. It's
let's
about
try. There's maybe a vendor inside here.
Mine
Like,
works really well.
wait, is there? Yeah, this guy.
Need something?
Excellent. So, oh no, it's not excellent. It's shit.
because
Man, I should have kept the green items. I'm so stupid.
But that's okay.
See you around.
I wrote this piece. It's really simple.
Doesn't
We
matter.
put it up against picture, and it's sort of a jungle scene. And suddenly, you saw the sun shining through the leaves. And we'd never seen that before. And so we turned the music off and we watched the scene again, and we didn't see the sun. And then, so now we got really excited like little boys. So it was Sunday, so there's nobody around. So we go out and there's a cleaner, and we get the cleaner in, and we go, let us show you something. And he saw it too. So, you know.
Disenchant.
So I
Oh,
have
for
I've
fuck's
not
sake.
been able to repeat this, you know. But it sort of really worked. I mean, it
What are you looking for?
turned the visual into something slightly different, you know. So that was, you asked me, what's the best married thing? Now, that piece became, it's known here as the Forbidden Cue,
Okay.
because people tempt this piece of music into every movie. One week I saw it in a cartoon, I mean like an animated movie. I saw it in an urban crime story, and I saw it in a baseball movie. You know, it seemed to fit everything, you know. And I heard versions of it as well over the years, which weren't entirely my versions, if you know what I mean.
Are you flattered when you hear that, or are you?
Oh man.
Yeah, just go, you know,
Have
knock
a good
yourself
one.
out,
Yeah.
you know.
King's
I mean,
honor, friend.
my music is
I just want this. This is all I want.
it's a subtotal of.
It
everything.
requires level 5. This one requires level 13. So this one's more appropriate.
It took me to my first opera when I was 2.5. you
Oh
know.
god.
I grew up with, and my dad was like a
Safe
jazz
travel.
Alright, I'll do it when I get, like, when I remember.
Oscar Peterson and the Modern Jazz Quartet and Joe Pass and you know, another amazing.
We had the same dad.
Yeah, but did you have the mom who would take you to the opera? She was, you know, she could tell any piece of music. She could tell you in the first bar, including like Stockhausen or Henze or the really sort of the modern guys. She just, you know, she just loved music.
My dad loved Oscar Peterson and Joe Pass.
Right.
When I was in 10th grade, he bought me a Joe Pass record, and he said, if you ever learn to play guitar like this, you've accomplished something with your life. My dad worked for the railroad. He was not a musician.
Right. Wow.
And I was like, what? And then I listened to the record. I was like, wow.
Do you know that Montreux? It's Toots Thielman, Joe Pass, Oscar Peterson, and Louis Bellson.
Louis Bellson. Yeah.
Wow. You know.
Amazing.
Yeah. You know, just amazing. You know, and
Hello.
then I love electronic music, and then I love. It's the Duke Ellington quote, isn't it? There are only two types of music: good music and bad music.
Yes.
And I absolutely believe in that. Technology
See you later.
has always been at the service of music. You know, I mean, the violin is a piece of technology.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly when I was doing Interstellar, I learned a lot about the pipe organ, which, to just quote, by the 17th century was, you know, finished in its design, and it was the most
Alright,
complicated
I'm gonna head down to Goldshire and I think I'm gonna call it.
humans had ever built
Yeah.
until the telephone exchange.
Yeah.
You know, and so something which was at the service of music that could be so advanced and so, you know, it sort of was at the service of religion. I am slightly,
Yeah.
you know, bending the rules.
Well, music and religion together.
There's a lot of stuff you can say about religion, but you gotta give it that, you know.
Yeah.
Those Bach things, you know, those Verdi things, pretty great. There's always somebody in the past, and there will always be somebody in the future who you can be a fan of, you know, and you can sort of bow your head and go, that's genius. That's why I love my band. Because Guthrie plays a solo, and the whole band goes, fuck me, that was amazing.
I wanna do this.
You know?
I think I wanna do
I
this.
like it when he's playing and you're just like,
Yeah, exactly. You know, it really is. You know, and Pedro and Tina and sort of everybody. You know, I love that every time I get this this amazing surprise, this amazing gift of people playing their little socks off
Maybe do
in the
this
most
and this.
brilliant way.
I need to do this because I want shatter. I'll see. But I kind of want this as well. This is a huge bonus.
With that, I wrote
If I crit, it's gonna hurt, right? It's gonna hurt a lot.
Not my stuff anymore. It's their stuff. So I think
I could also do this, and then go to shatter.
Three shitty guitarists,
3, 2,
keyboard player is actually
5, right?
you know.
Hans,
I don't know.
really appreciate you spending the time, and
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to see.
it's so nice to meet you in person. This is great. It's fantastic.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, now, fuck off, everybody.
God.
Alright, viewer. Do I have it in me to play a bit longer? I don't know. I'm gonna take a little break. I'm not gonna quit the game yet. I'll let you listen to some music in the background. I'll be back. Go AFK.
If all is well, I cannot tell. Should I clear my throat or to lay the hammer down? I'll wait and see, in spite of the common misconception from all the little clowns. Let's make some moves. I've got the news. It's finally here. After begging like a dog, I'll flee the scene to somewhere clean, or be left behind in the world of demigods. A good day for me at least. I'm not grinding my teeth. I'm not lying awake. There's something warm, no dragons to slay. It's something of charm to have nothing to say, just a small fire, dark cave to sight all the earthly riches I have tried to grasp in vain. See you next, fall sick of it all. Take my sole possession, or to shake the ball and chain. Good day for me at least. I'm not grinding my teeth. I'm not lying awake. There's something something warm, no dragons to slay. It's something of charm to have nothing to say.
You know what? I am gonna play a little bit more. Let's go to Westfall. Yeah, let's go to Westfall. I kind of feel like listening to more podcasts. I'll see. So one thing it was quite interesting. Like, it's interesting to hear from a man who has been working on so much like iconic movies and made so much iconic sounds, you know? One thing I like took from this is he said, I worked with music enough to know that you don't want to play your instruments loud. Because if you play your instruments loud, you can't actually hear the full sound of the instrument itself. But instead, you hear the ting, you know, the reverb, the bang when you hit the drum, for example, or something, if you hit it loud. You can't hear the instrument itself, like the noise kills the sound of the instrument itself if you play it too loud. That's interesting, right? I never thought about it that way. But that's really true, actually, right? You can always turn it up later on, but when you play it for the first time, you don't want to like overdo it. I mean, well, depends what you want. Depends what kind of music you play. Depends on a lot of things. But yeah, it's interesting. And also another thing he said is like that he's always trying to surround himself with other people who are really talented. That's something. And that he's always outside of his comfort zone. He's always outside of his comfort zone, that he's basically never happy. Yeah, I mean, I can like, I can only imagine, right? The killing fields. All right, let's do this. What do I need to do, though? Oh. Murloc. Yeah, let's go kill Murlocs. They're around here and down there. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Oh man, I hit pretty hard, right? 50 mana. 65 mana. Yeah, it's eating my mana, but it hits hard. I used to hit for like 30, now I hit for like 50. I used to crit for 50. Oh, that's crazy, right? I know that eventually in a mage's lifetime, there comes the time when you... Oh, for fuck's sake. When your water is like too weak. Hell yeah. I saw one of them here, I think. I think it was a vulture flying around here. No, it's the Gore Tusk. Yeah, I need him as well. There we go. Alright, I I need a lot of gore tusks, apparently. Good thing he didn't pull this one. Their aggros are... What's this? Cloth. Oh man, that's nice. Good. That's actually perfect, right? Intellect and stamina.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.
Man, this song is fucking insanely good. Just the riff, so good. Yep, this is dangerous. This is a dangerous place. This is a dangerous place.
Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. Inventory is full.
Like, they're so unpredictable and so quick.
It's too far away.
I'm not even sure that they drop the eyes that I need, but I think they are.
I
Yeah,
can't
they are.
carry
Alright.
anymore.
Oh shit!
Born perfect. Perched atop the spire. Nestled in the bosom of creation. Wounded once, never again. I'm building a cult around your figure. The saints want the idol's present, the idol presence, the idol's present.
There we go. Let's get the hell out of here. We just need one more vulture.
Rituals dance just out of reach. Just as any good conduit should dance, just out of reach. 10,000 weary and wanton. Exhale the dust. Folded into my boot heels.
Man, this song. So good. Just everything about it, like.
rises. Even now, the sun.
So good, like so fucking good.
She bows to the cradle. She weeps. We are balanced on one finger. And we are sovereign. We are softly sung to sleep.
Oh, I'm supposed to kill the Watchers. Alright. So this seems to be a good place to do it. A good place as any, right? Ooh, level 15. Yeah, I don't want to have you hitting me. Why would I let you hit me? Ooh, another level 15. Man, maybe I should have thought this through a little bit. Still alive, Bouncy. The respawn rate here is crazy, and their aggro range is fucking crazy as well.
That was awesome.
But they're really soft, like they take it like good little bitches.
All them witches live on KEXP. I have to catch my breath. That was so good. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
We're just happy to be around.
We're so happy to have you here. It's so great. Ben, Robbie, Parks, Alan, welcome back. So great to see you. You're listening to KEXP. We're at 90.3 FM in Seattle and streaming worldwide at kexp.org. We're a listener-powered radio station. Thanks to our wonderful supporters, we're able to bring you sessions like the one just about to happen. I'm so excited. It's Apostles live on KEXP. Welcome. So nice to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Did I say that right? How do they say it in Berlin?
Pastels.
Passes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear some music from your new album, Day Night, or albums, as I should say. And we'll talk about that more later. But Parcels live on KEXP. Take it away.
The parcels are fucking awesome. Wait, let me see, when was this recorded? 3 years ago. Just a sec, I fucked it up. To love, to give, to life. Alright, we'll get back to this. Let's
Live on KEXP. Take it away.
listen from the beginning. Oh, my poor mana. Never enough mana. Oh shit. Oh shit, the inventory is full. So what happens now? What happened with my... What happened with my little... with the thing? Nothing, I didn't get the thing. I didn't get the dust, right? Oh man, that sucks so much. I think I'll have the mana. Yeah, just barely. Barely enough. Alright, let's disenchant this and then I'll be able to get the thing. Then I'll be able to get the thing, right? Yeah, perfect. And now I have this thing. Alright.
See that sun burning down, morning light calling out. See that sun, don't look down. Here it comes, feel it now.
Yeah, alright, this works. I'm getting there slowly, slowly.
See that sun burning down, morning light calling out.
shit. Alright, got them all.
See that sign burning down, morning light calling out. I see that sign, don't look down. Here it comes, feel it now.
Still recharging. I can't carry
You're listening to
it.
Parcels live on KEXP.
greater. Holding out for something else. Right, one more liver and one more meat. Come on, some luck. Yes, alright. Now all I need is one more liver. Are you gonna give me your liver? Maybe he will. Hell yeah. Perfect. Alright, let's turn this shit in. Still need the oats for Blanchy. Cloth. 2 stamina, 2 spirit. I mean, I feel like, you know, my 2 intellect. Yeah, alright, fuck it. I'll take it. I'll wear it. I don't know what the fuck am I gonna do, but well, let me sell my shit first.
Well met.
Wait, you're a vendor, right? Handful of oats, and now I can turn this shit in. And then I can disenchant this. Alright, and then I can enchant my bracer again. Right? Yeah. And then I'll be level 8 enchanting. And now I can turn this shit in.
What can I do for you? See you around. Be careful. Have a good one. Farewell.
Right now I'll sell all this shit. Okra, I don't need the okra anymore. I don't need the snouts. I don't need this. I don't need the stew. Yeah, I don't need anything, you know?
Careful.
I think I know where the pocket watch is. It's in there, I think. In there. Oh man, this is such a good reward. 4-slot bag.
Once there was a plan,
Bro, alright.
but one can never tell. Once a mother's gone, the children raise themselves.
I'll try to make my way towards the house and try to get the pocket watch as well.
Breathing in the air.
I think there's
Now the more,
oats there as well.
the less I lose my head. Now the road is wide. Now the people stare.
Yeah, this is the Full Brow's pumpkin farm.
For once
It makes sense the Full Brow, Furl Brow pocket watch will be here.
see the light underneath the
There's some oats here. Alright, I can.
for months there at a time,
You gotta be careful.
believing every thread.
You
And
gotta be really careful. These guys can zerg me like really quickly.
fears would all have fled, and it'll all be fine. At least that's what you said. Whoa. I wanna buy a house. I wanna make a stand. I wanna love a girl. I wanna love a man.
Man, can I kill him? Is he alone? No, he's not alone. I don't think I can kill him.
I want another chance, but one is all you have. But if once more I could feel what I felt before, I'd hold it like it's real. I'd never let it fall. I'd blow up every bridge. I'd build up every wall, and nothing could get in, but nothing could be born. Whoa.
Yep, I'm fine.
Everything looks nice. Nothing is unwell. But once the fruit of God, forever live in hell. And once you choose a side, there's nothing left to win. And once a lover dies, you never love again.
Get closer.
Oh, there's another bag. Alright, let's kill this guy.
So beautiful. You're listening to Parcels live on KEXP. I am so in my happy place right now. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to have you here. And your fabulous new record, Day Night, you've just featured songs from that, is an ambitious 19 songs long. I understand winnowed down from a staggering 150 or so demos.
Is there something inside?
You mentioned that you don't
Shit.
really think of it as a double album, but sort of like two distinct albums that complement each other. And I'm wondering what this epic undertaking was like and how these two beautiful pieces of art relate to one another.
Yeah, it was. It started, I think, just with the idea that always is the case, trying to put it.
Yeah, there's nothing in here. Fuck this place.
We have so many ideas, and I think for the first album we had trouble trying to bring it all together, and we were starting to make decisions based on trying to bring everything together. And that was just a thing that I think was subconscious, and when we were coming in to make a new album, it was like, oh, let's make 2 because that'll be easier. And then also, if you make 2 albums that are opposite each other, it means that you could go, you know, further into each opposite. It kind of broadened the spectrum for us. So with that in mind, I think Day and Night kind of just made its way into our minds. And then, of course, it was just a great way of, I don't know, having some sort of canvas, some sort of backdrop to write songs to.
Man, should I try it?
Really
I'll
inspired
try it.
by- I mean, we're Australian, so we kind of grew up in nature. And it's a very big part of us is just that, you know.
I'll try it.
The desert, the stillness, and then the
That
jungle.
spell isn't ready yet.
I don't know. It's very much in us, that vibe. So
I had read somewhere that you said you were trying to paint landscapes with the music. And of course, as you said, Australia is so beautiful in its natural environment and has so many different types of natural environment. And I understand that you're living in Berlin, but you went to Australia to start working on this record. And what was behind the decision to do that?
To move to Berlin or to...
To go back to Australia to start working on this record.
So yeah, we started writing the record in Australia, but then we kind of recorded it all in Europe, and it was like a long process. But I think it was just a very natural thing to go back to Australia and find some sort of home, or at least look for some sort of home during this kind of crazy time.
All right, so let's check out that farm over
But
there.
that was part of the writing process, and all of us in a house in the rainforest kind of
Let's check that farm out.
inspired by this place that we've kind of been yearning for living in Europe.
What inspired the move to Berlin? You went there quite young, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty random. We were we wanted to go pretty far from where we grew up. We wanted to see something new. We wanted to be in Europe. And we kind of closed our eyes and found Berlin on a map, more or less. We knew it was cheap and that there was dance music there, but other than that, it was just fresh out of high school going for it, you know?
And how has that experience been? Has it treated you well?
Yeah, I'd say it has. It's been nearly 7 years now since we left Australia and really moved there to be in this band. So there's been so many ups and so many downs, and we've changed 100
I'll
times.
help you,
over,
buddy.
so, yeah.
Well, you must be a very tight unit to all want to move there together. And it seems like you're an incredibly collaborative project, each contributing ideas and demos, and these beautiful voices come together, which just make me so happy. How does your writing process work with 5 really talented contributors?
it's forever changing. I feel like our philosophy in a way is just to keep moving, keep changing everything. We can never really play the same thing twice because we get bored really easily. But the writing process for...
Man, I was expecting a bit more oats, to be honest.
Making demos with a laptop.
There's only one bag of oats
like a
here.
keyboard. I know for myself, I didn't want to get too into the production world, so
I'm going back to full, bro.
minimized what I had, which was just like a dodgy little keyboard and a guitar. And we just put in demos into like a bank, like Dropbox. Shout out to Dropbox. And yeah, and then we had so many. That was a real struggle.
Oh, there's another
trying
one.
to get that. It was around 150
Nice.
demos down, whittling them down. I think we got it down to 40, and we rehearsed 40 songs in the rehearsal room. And
Two
so
more,
we could
and then I'll
pick
get a
some
bag.
songs were
So
sounding like
happy.
others, so you go, oh, what's the best song?
I'll
And
be so happy about that.
slowly you would make our way to 20, and then we got to 19 or whatever.
Is it a painful process to leave any behind?
Oh, so painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go, there's one.
Sad.
Yeah.
Oh
Never
god,
doing
please
that
don't
again, by the way,
respawn
that
right
was-
now. Please don't.
Far away.
We'll do it differently next time.
Well, you've done it differently from record to record. I understand you tried to capture the live sound on this
All right,
record,
one more.
And you're other record, your first record, was much more sort of studio produced. And I have to say, the musicianship right here today is incredible. And I understand you sort
What
of
are you
had
guarding?
boot
Just
camp
a
of sorts
toilet?
and decided you wanted to relearn your instruments and became somewhat of a cover band. And how did you push yourself to step outside your creative comfort zone into these new distinct styles that you were looking into?
There we go. There's the last one. All right, perfect.
It was a beautiful time, and it definitely
Let's
was.
go grab this thing, turn in the quests, and maybe head to the Sentinel Hill.
One day it was just like, you know what? We've got a bit of time before recording. Let's investigate. Like, let's see what these other bands that we all love have been doing. Like, let's play the parts exact, like note for note, and then slowly, you know, we're not the best cover band because.
All right, I'll kill you.
I'll put a little bit of my own thing in here.
If you insist.
But it was so interesting to be like, oh, you know, you think you know a song and then you really play it and you're like, wow, it's got such a different vibe. And we went through all the different genres that we love. And afterwards, like, I think we all just felt like, wow, like I have so much more knowledge for my own instrument. And now I'm ready to kind of, you know, look at how we're just like making our mark on this whole world of music and like what can we bring to the table that we haven't.
They're
seen
here, right?
in
I
all
think
the
they're here,
different
right?
genres that we've just played.
Yeah, there's
Haven't
Blanche.
been able to
There
achieve.
she is.
We're just copying.
What are some of the bands you can think of off the top of your head that everybody just really had fun playing around with?
Donny Hathaway comes to mind.
Yeah, there was one particular album of Donny Hathaway that we were just
Live.
live.
Yeah.
That was the name.
We played some B.B. King.
Yeah.
That was a struggle. I'm definitely not a blues drummer.
Yeah, it was a great way of us looking at, like, getting everyone to look at the other instruments too, because it's such a conversation, this
there.
whole playing
travels.
music together, and it's so
All right,
hard
but
of
I gotta get rid of some stuff. Let's
that,
eat
you know,
this shit.
we're all got to be listening to
I'm
each
gonna
other.
destroy this shit, and
So that was a
then
great
I'm
way of
gonna
getting
complete
that
this
done.
quest, equip
I'd
the
also heard
bag.
you played around with some Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I can't tell you how much I'd love it.
Excellent. So good. This is so good. So happy about
I
this.
feel like it's a.
All right, but now it's time to choose. Holy shit! What should I do?
Well,
Should I do this thing
Wonderful, and one day someone's
or
gonna
this
remember
thing?
you and thinking the same thing.
I
but
think I'll do this thing.
still,
Yeah, I'll do
thank
that
you so
one.
much for that fabulous session for us today. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
You've been
So,
listening
let's head to
Parcels, the new
Sentinel Hill.
album,
Noth-
Day
nothing
and
else to
Night,
do, right?
Wonderful release out on Because Music. And again, thank you so much to our wonderful
Moonbrook,
listeners
Sentinel
who
Hill
power
is here.
KEXP,
Elwyn
and you can
Forest.
subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you get notification every
Old
time
Coast
we
Road.
release a wonderful video like the one that'll be coming soon with Parcels. Thank you so much for tuning in to KEXP Seattle.
Discover new music at listenerpoweredkexp.org.
Hey there, Protector. Hey there, Protector.
Just keeping it real and warm, you know?
got stuff to do. Oh, this guy's gonna take me to Stormwind. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set my innkeeper here, set my inn here, Hearthstone. Then I'm gonna fly to Stormwind, and then I'm gonna Hearthstone back, right? Oh shit. 2 strength on cloth, like why? It's so bad. But alright. Alright, this is my home. Now let's go to Stormwind and I can Hearthstone back. It'll be quick, I think. They want me to learn that I can fly. Ooh, he has a horsey. Maybe I could learn first aid or something, right? Well, I'm in the big city. I could learn first aid, right? I think continue to Stormwind. The shop limited immunity in the old town. Yeah, it's in the old town, alright. Let's go there, and then I think the first aid trainer is in the cathedral district. I love you too. Protective hide. Limited immunity. There it is. I'm actually really enjoying doing quests without any add-ons. Like it's so fun. Alright, so I need to go back to the Griffin Master, but I'll do that last. I mean, I might as well fly back. Like, why waste my Hearthstone? Whatever. But yeah, it's quite nice. Like you read the quest log and then you try to figure out where you have to go and what you have to do. Where's a soldier that I can ask where the first aid guy is? Seriously? Where is the soldier? Man, I'm going to the cathedral ward. I think it's there. Fuck it. I'm not looking for a fucking soldier. It has to be there, right? There's the controller. I'll just ask him just to be sure.
What can I do for you?
Profession trainer, first aid. Yeah, Cathedral of Light.
Searching for something that's already in my heart. You are the moonlight, my soul's subkeep, glowing so strong and pure, so soft and sweet. Well, I'm just overflowing with love for you.
Light
'Cause you fill my cup and my body too.
Alright, the wool bandage. I still have a way to go. Ways to go, you know? But alright, that's fine.
I should get back to you now, just like I said I would. But you
There we go.
shed my emerald sea.
Wait.
Days when your waves within there
First aid, 80. Okay, 10 more points. Okay, I got it.
for you. 'Cause you fill my cup and my body too. Yeah, you fill my cup and my body too. If we lose our balance and we start to drift and fall, and we wind up on our knees, well, remember, we still can crawl. Oh, my sweetness, you know that I wanna walk with you into these restless times.
Is there a vendor in here?
So
What's up here?
flowing through my veins and through my trees. Well, I'm just overflowing with love for you. You take my dreams and you make them true. Well, I'm overflowing with love for you. 'Cause you fill my cup and my body too. Yeah, you fill my cup and my body too.
Use honor, friend. Go with honor, friend. For the Alliance. Be careful. Greetings.
Alright, let's go back. Fine, perfect. Turn to Lewis, yeah. Oh, sorry, I gotta go up there.
Hello. See you later. See you around. I supply only the finest goods.
Alright, quartermaster. Should I buy a bag from ya? Yeah, I'll buy some bags. Yeah, that's so good. All right. All right, Blanche's feet pouch. I could buy another one and replace the Blanche's feet pouch. Let's do that. Sorry, Blanche. You suck, Blanche.
Safe travel.
I worked so hard for this, and then I come here and just buy it. No, at least I have at least somewhat backspace, you know. Since I can't use the auction house, bags are always gonna be a problem. Anyway, I'm gonna call it. I'm tired. I had enough. I'll see what I'll do tomorrow or the day after. Next time. But I'll log out here in the inn. So I'm rested in any case. Alright, that's it. Thanks. Bye.